Hi, I am Pradip Halder. Today we will discuss about the transportation of chapter life process. We know that transportation or the transport of materials, it may be the food, water, or the necessary substance like the hormone or enzymes, from one part to the another part within the living organism or within our body, that known as a transportation. So transportation plays important role in our life or in case of the living organism. Every cell requires the food materials to produce the energy. By using of transportation where the materials like the food are going to be transported. The necessary substance like the hormone are going to be transported within the body that by using of transportation. Now today we will discuss about the transportation in plants. Within the plant body, how the materials like the water or the food transported from one part to the another. Today, next, we know that in case of the plant conducting the vascular tissue or conducting tissue. The water conducting tissue are known as a xylem, whereas the food conducting tissue are known as a phloem. So xylem and phloem are the tissue which are able to transport the water and the food materials within the plant. But we are going to discuss about the process, how the water or the food are going to be transported. In case of the lower order plant like the Chlamydomonas, the materials like the water or the food are going to be transported by the use of diffusion. Diffusion. What is diffusion? Diffusion means the process by which the materials are going to be transported from higher concentrated region to a lower concentrated region to be the equilibrium in level. That known as a diffusion. So the lower order plants like the Chlamydomonas can transport these materials by using of diffusion. Osmosis is the another process which also help to transport of the materials. What is osmosis? Osmosis means the process by which the materials are going to be transported from the higher concentrated region to the lower concentrated region through a semi-permeable membrane. Osmosis can be two types, endoosmosis or the exosmosis. The process by which water enter into the cell that known as a endoosmosis, and the process by which the cell discharging the water that known as a exosmosis. So diffusion osmosis is may able to perform the transportation of water and the food in the plant. But in case of the tall plant or in case of the higher order plant, these are the insufficient. That's why the plant contain the tissue like the xylem or phloem to transport the water and the food. We know that the distance between the root and the buds are quite huge. So the diffusion and osmosis will be the insufficient or it will be too hard for this process to transport the water. It will take too much time. Now, transportation of water. Transportation of water. We know that the root absorbing the water, and this by the help of xylem, this water are going to be moved upward. That known as a ascent of sap. Generally, the xylem having the four elements: trachea, vessels, xylem parenchyma, and the xylem fiber. These are the four elements which are help to transport the water. Now, in case of the flowering plant, the trachea and the vessel both combine to transport the water, and in non-flowering plant, which may the vascular in nature, in case of the non-flowering plant, which may be the vascular in nature, it's the trachea which are responsible for transporting the water. Now, how the transportation of water take place? how the transpiration of water take place. First one, this is the root part. We know that the root contains some hairs, the unicellular hair-like structure that known as a root hair. By the help of the root hair, the water will be absorbed, and this is occurred due to the differentiation of concentration of water between the soil and the within the root. So root hair will absorb the water due to the difference of the concentration between the soil and the root on the basis of water. Now the substance, the water and the minerals which are absorbed by the root from the soil, that known as a soil solution. Now the lateral transportation take place. What is lateral transportation? When the root hair absorb the water, then this water moved laterally, cell to cell, cell to epidermis, epidermis to the cortex, cortex to endodermis, and finally from the endodermis this water reach in the xylem, in tracheids and the vessel, that known as a lateral transpiration or the transport, lateral transport. Sorry. Next, when the water reach in the xylem, due to the active or the passive transport, by the help of some theory, maybe the root pressure theory, when the water enter into the root, generally the root creating a pressure, or root exert a pressure, that known as a root pressure, which pushes the water upward. So when the water finally reach in the xylem, it means the amount of water will be increased within the root. So the root will create the pressure, that known as a root pressure, and that help to movement of the water upward, that known as a ascent of soil. And another theory which are more vital from the root pressure theory, that is the transpiration pool. We know that what is transpiration? From the aerial part of the plant, the water will be discharged in the form of the water vapor, that known as a transpiration. So the leaves contain the stomata. By using the stomata, these leaves are able to perform the transpiration, and due to the transpiration, a huge pressure will be created that pushes the water upward. In case of the daytime, this transpiration pool and the cohesion tension theory help to transport the water. And in case of the small plant, the root pressure theory is applicable and help to transport the water. Now in the diagram, these are the root region which absorb the water. Then this water moves cell to cell, cell to epidermis, endodermis, finally reach in the xylem. Now due to these two theories, the root pressure theory of the transpiration pool theory, this water move upward. Suddenly the water enter into the leaves, and water will be used for the photosynthesis. As a result of photosynthesis, the food will be created that will be transported by the phloem tissue. This is the water transportation in plant. Now the next thing is transpiration. Transpiration, already we provide the definition. The discharging of water in the form of water vapors from the aerial part of the plant. Now, most of the time the transpiration occur or take place by help of the stomata. Over the 90% transpiration take place by using of stomata, that known as a stomatal transpiration. May some amount of transpiration take place by using of cuticle. It's over almost the 7 to 8% transpiration of a plant take place by using of the cuticle, that known as a cuticular transpiration. And the last one, some pores present on the stem, that known as a lenticel. By using of the lenticel, may transpiration take place, that known as a lenticellular transpiration. It is a negligible amount, almost the 1% transpiration take place by using of lenticel. Now, what are the importance of transpiration? The transpiration fluid help to transport the water upwardly. This water are used in the process of photosynthesis and the another process, life process. Transpiration also help to regulate the temperature. Now, tomorrow we will discuss about the food transport in plant by the phloem tissue.